Hello, this is Steve from Beato's Leatherworks. Today's project is this very cool old vintage Gucci purse. Now it's seen its better days. Obviously it needs a new zipper, new lining. The side gussets here are torn. And just the general cleaning and conditioning and make it look better. All right, let's get started. Trigger time. I don't know why people get triggered for this. I really don't. What's the big issue? I'm not making it into like a razor sharp cutting tool. This is just to cut thread. That's all it is. You know? And people get triggered by it. Who cares? Let me sharpen my blades. Why is it bothersome to some people? I don't get it. But let's get the formalities out of the way. This is called mini focus. It's upside down, but you get the idea. I have a blue suede belt. Let's try that again. These are my grandstones, blue suede, split toe. Because I know you guys are going to ask, hey man, what watch are you wearing? I see the comment like a year down the road. and I'm not ignoring it, you know. I try to see all the comments, but sometimes when it's an older video that, you know, I don't see the comment has been made a long time after the video has been posted. So my last video, the short video for the Christian Louboutin, however you pronounce it, there were some comments on why would the customer do that when it's a brand new shoe. But most of the Christian Louboutin sole guards is what we call them. And some people say, that's not a sole guard, man. Well, that's what we call it in this profession, sole guard or sole savers. Okay. So basically, some people do not like that light color to show when the shoe is worn. Because all that is a leather sole with red paint on it. You wear it one time and that red paint will show the light underneath. Well, some people are like, they're particular about their shoes, right? So what we do is we put that thin rubber sole on there, and that rubber sole is basically red throughout the material. It's not, there's no light color underneath, you know? So it's not going to turn light as you start wearing it. So, and then plus it gives you some traction, right? Leather gets a little slippery at times. This gives you a little bit of traction. It's not a slippery rubber sole. It's an Italian-made product. Casali is what it is called. And we do a lot of it when the shoe is brand new. We do few when they're worn down also, but we try to let the customers know that don't wear the leather sole down to a point where we can't add the thin rubber on top of it. Because if the leather sole is too thin and we have to replace the leather sole, okay, because you can't have a thin rubber sole on top of that much worn out leather sole, because if it's too worn out, then you've got to replace it. So, and some people say, oh, he's got more money than sense. No, the guy likes his shoes, or the women love their shoes, and they want to keep it for as long as possible. So, and to each his own. You're not wearing the shoes, so why are you worried about it? It's not your money. Why are you worried about it? So leave people alone. You don't have something nice to say? Well, don't say it at all. Keep it to yourself. It's okay. All right, so let's get back to this. Now, I was going to try to reuse this leather piece here, this binding here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but we'll try. We'll see what happens. Now, what happens once this gets taken apart, this is basically like a PVC type material, right? It's very similar to the Louis Vuitton monograms, Louis Vuitton, where they have a canvas with a die coated on top. Okay, this is very similar to that one. Maybe this material is a little bit stiffer than that one, that material is. So obviously we don't have same material that we're going to replace it with. Now I do have something similar. Okay. Let's see if I can take this apart real quick. I do have something similar, but it's just not the same. It's very similar actually, right? I might have to tweak this a little bit. So what I wanted to do, by the way, somebody put crazy glue on here to try to help with the tears. Obviously that doesn't work. Look at that. So what I thought about doing is, since this bag has a pattern right here, see that pattern all the way? And on top, maybe what I can do, put a pattern right around the edge. Now we've got this suede pigskin. Now the back of the suede is smooth, obviously, than the front, right? But obviously that doesn't match. That's totally, different than what we have here. So I tweaked it a little bit. I dyed it, conditioned it, added some color. And let's just look at this piece right here. This little piece. The bag already has some variations, dark, light area. I think something like this would go pretty good. Can you guys tell the difference there? It's not a bad match. It is pigskin, just like this. So I might end up giving it a little border around the side gussets there. I'm not sure yet. Maybe if this is closer, I might replace it. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's continue. I always put an arrow of the direction the zipper was closing, so I don't forget when I'm ready to assemble things up. Now, it turns out that I'm not going to be able to use the side pieces because the other one had so much crazy glue on there that there was no way of salvaging it, and I just had to tear it to remove it. There's these two little pieces at the end of the zipper, that's going to get replaced also because one of them tore. That's the one half, and that's the other half. Sometimes when you're working on old bags, you kind of have to improvise because as you're starting to take things apart, it goes in a different direction. It's just part of the job, that's all. And you hope that it's not too big of a change in the plans, and you just kind of do it if it needs to get done, and just let the customer know that, okay, well, this is what we have to do, unfortunately. There's times where you have no choice but to do things. Now, there's no front or back to this bag. You see, it's kind of symmetrical on both sides. Usually there's some indication, like a small Gucci, a little metal pin right here, but there's no indication of front or back. So again, most of the time we'll mark this is the pocket, the back pocket. So that's the back of the bag. When you're looking at it this way, the pocket is always in the back, right? So that's the back of the bag. But with this one, I mean, it doesn't matter how we put it back together. I think it'll be okay. It's very similar. As long as we put the zipper in the same direction, and then we'll put it back the same way as it was. You know, basically the zipper is going in this direction, and we'll make it the same way when it gets done. I don't think it makes it that big of a difference. Again, there's no front and back to this. Now, most of these bags will have fiberboard. See that? It's all paper. It's very normal for the bags to have that. It gives it a little bit of a weight to the bag, to the leather, and add some stiffeners to it. And you know, over time, these tend to kind of get frail and just start falling apart. It's just the nature of the material. I mean, it's not a bad material. It is made out of some sort of a composite paper, which I have some also. It's I do use it myself. They're more flexible than cardboard or paper items that you can use to stiffen the bags. It's more flexible. It doesn't break as easily. But this particular one is probably about 40 years old. So, you know, eventually things do wear out and fall apart. So it is pretty normal. All right, let's continue. All right, so we've reinforced the top area there. We'll cut this access off and we'll make it nice and straight line like it was. Then we'll start working on the lining. Let's continue. All right, so this is the main part of the lining. Okay. I'm going to deconstruct this right here. I'm going to show you guys how we put it all back together. All right, let's continue. Of course, you take everything apart, you've got to clean the old stitches. Every thread that you cut, you got to remove. It's a bit tedious work, but it's the only way it's going to look nice and clean once you restitch everything back together. You won't have any old frayed threads showing. All right, so you've got the main body right here. This is the back of it. You mark the center and you mark the width of the opening of the pocket, and you simply cut it out. This is going to be 8 by 3/4 of an inch. Usually, most of the time, it's 1/2 inch opening, but it really depends on the width of this right here. The wider it is, you can do opening a little bit wider if you want. This is our front of the fabric for our lining. And now you got a nice opening there for the zipper. All right, let's continue. All right, glued our zipper in the center of that opening. And simply you're going to glue this on top. Make sure that you've got the zipper centered. Now, when you have 2 stitches going around, okay, holding that piece to the lining, the outside stitch here is simply stitched on to the main body. And then the inside stitch here stitches the pocket together. So before we put that pocket back there, we're going to go ahead and run the stitch all the way around to secure in this piece to the lining. All right, let's continue. All right, so we've got that stitched on. Now this is the pocket in the back, okay? Now you need to stitch this stitch first, and then you can come and stitch 3/4 way around. Okay, so first we've got a little glue right here. Okay, so we've got the pocket glued like that. So we're going to run a stitch here. We're going to fold this over like that, and then fold it back and do the rest of the stitch. Make sure that this stays. Pull the top thread to the back and go ahead and do a couple of knots. I do 3, sometimes I do 2. Add a little glue to that piece right there. Okay. Nice and straight line. Now we glue the top piece there, and then you'll have your pocket. And you can continue to stitch the other end. And then once you're done there, you're going to close the sides of the pockets here. Now sometimes people do that beforehand or afterhand. I mean, it doesn't matter, just as long as you don't forget to close the sides of your pockets. All right, the pocket is done. Close the sides and the top stitch. All right, let's continue. All right, we've got the zipper put in, okay? We salvaged the tab, put it on a new zipper slide. Now we're going to put these little pieces at the end of the zipper. This is the original one right here. And this is the new one. The color's not too bad of a match. It's going to be okay. Bad, so we're making progress. Obviously inside lining is done. Now when I get done, I'm going to try to heat this up a little bit to see if I can straighten that out. I could have ironed it when it was flat, didn't think about it, but I didn't want to damage it with an iron, so I'm going to just put a little bit of heat gun on light heat and see if I can straighten that out and stuff it while it's warm, so maybe it'll straighten that out a little bit more. All right, let's continue. So I'm stuck in my own thoughts. Do I leave it like that? That's a new piece. Obviously it's different, right? Or do I put the leather like I was planning on doing? I mean, it doesn't look bad. This is just kind of a mock-up. I'm not gonna keep this like this. The strap is a little crooked. trying to make a decision whether I should. Damn it. Maybe I should go back to my original design. Salvage what I can out of this. I think that's what I'm going to do. Damn it. This is just dry as hell, Dave. Look at this. This is all some sort of glue or something. I can't even bend that. It's so crisp. Okay, so I decided to do plan A. So we cut these out. We made some, what do we ever call that? We're going to stitch that together. Cut around the edge. Stitch it onto the bag. The color's not too bad, huh? I mean, not a bad match. I think it's pretty good. So, I tried with the other one. We're just not talking to me, so I think we're going to stick with plan A. All right, let's continue. Much better than that. Once we put the binding on the edge, it'll be perfecto. All right, let's continue. See how that thread is curving like that? Curling? That means it's at the end of its line. It's going to run out soon from the bobbin. So I got to change it. I'm going to see if I can stitch that right there without replacing the bobbin. Alright, so this is my patching machine. This is a Stanley Boss Stitch patching machine. This is model number SL71. Basically, you've got this arm here where you could put shoes and boots, slide it in and stitch it. This is very commonly used in the shoe repair industry. This particular one used to have a big wheel right here with a little peg that you can hand crank the machine. I outfitted this one with the motor so I can, use it without cranking it with my hand. So it's a good machine. It's they're useful. They're very useful. We use it a lot of times for patching work on doing shoe repair. Now we're going to stitch the bag. Let's see, I gotta zoom in for you. There we go. I ended up using the same binding. I salvaged it. And we ran out of bobbin thread. Golly, worst time to do so. I think I'm going to have to unstitch all that again, fill the bobbin up, and then start all over. So this machine comes with a bobbin winder, which is not working very well. So what I do is basically, I got a little drill right here. I hate bobbins. They're so small and clumsy. And me and my shaky hands always drop it. And that's it. She is ready. All right. Semi-full bobbin. All right, let's continue. So once the bobbin is full, we got a bobbin case. The thread goes through there. And it's got a little tension point right there, which the thread's got to go through. Of course, because I'm trying to record it, it always gives me issues. And a little hole, it's got to go through there. She is ready. And then just put it in the little snot. And ready to stitch. All right, let's try this again. Not bad at all. All right, we are done with stitching. Now we're going to touch up a little bit of color condition, and we are done with this project. Let's continue. All right, welcome back. We are done with another project. Overall, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm very happy that I went with that original plan like I did. I think it looks much better this way, rather than replacing that with a little bit different pattern. Got the new zipper. It's stuffed in there. I'll show you the lining. Lining is all good. We stitched the shoulder pad also. I replaced that with a black suede. Now, this was black to begin with, maybe it was dark brown. It just got like really dark originally, but it sure looked like it was black. So I replaced it with a black suede, so it'll stay on the shoulder easily. And I cleaned and conditioned it up. Now there's some stains on the bottom here. They just did not want to come out, and I did not want to scrub any harder because it's an old leather, and the more you scrub it, the more damage you're going to do. But I think it turned out okay. Luckily, it's on the bottom. It's got different hues to it, and overall, I think it turned out very well. All right, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. That helps the channel out. And thumbs up and hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified when I upload videos. All right, thanks again. We'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.